Picture this: you're running late for the most important meeting of your career. Your alarm didn't go off, traffic is backed up for miles, and every single light turns red just as you approach. You're sitting there, gripping the steering wheel, feeling like the entire universe has conspired against you. But what if I told you that this moment of apparent chaos might actually be the universe's way of protecting you from something you can't yet see? The renowned psychologist William James, who passed away in 1910, spent his life studying what he called the unseen order of reality. James discovered that many of our most frustrating experiences are actually subtle interventions from a higher intelligence that operates beyond our immediate understanding. His research revealed that there's a protective force constantly working in our lives, even when we're completely unaware of it. Before we dive deeper into these mysterious workings of providence, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We explore these profound mysteries of human existence together, and your presence makes each discovery more meaningful for all of us. Today, I want to share with you 5 unmistakable signs that something greater is watching over you every single day. These aren't just random occurrences or wishful thinking, they're evidence of what we might call divine orchestration, a protective intelligence that guides us away from harm and toward our highest good, often in ways we never realize until much later. The first sign: last-minute changes that save you from disaster. How many times have you had plans completely fall apart at the last second? Maybe you were supposed to fly somewhere, but your flight got cancelled due to weather. Perhaps you were about to sign a lease on an apartment, but the paperwork got delayed. Or you were planning to meet someone, but they had to cancel unexpectedly. In those moments, it feels like everything is going wrong. You're frustrated, disappointed, maybe even angry. But here's what's fascinating. More often than not, these last-minute disruptions are actually divine interventions protecting you from something you couldn't possibly foresee. I remember hearing about a businessman who was supposed to be on a specific flight for a crucial meeting. He'd checked in online, packed his bags, and was ready to leave for the airport when he got a call that the meeting had been moved to the following week. He was furious. This meant missing the flight, rebooking, and completely rearranging his schedule. Later that evening, he watched the news and discovered that his original flight had been involved in a serious incident at the destination airport. Several people were injured and the airport was shut down for hours. What felt like a major inconvenience had actually saved him from being in a dangerous situation. This is how divine protection often works, not through dramatic interventions, but through seemingly mundane disruptions that redirect us away from paths we shouldn't take. The universe has a way of creating obstacles when we're headed towards something that isn't in our best interest, even when we can't see the bigger picture. James wrote extensively about what he called the protective nature of inconvenience. He observed that many of life's most annoying delays and changes serve a purpose we only understand in retrospect. When you're experiencing these frustrating last-minute changes, try to remember that you might be being steered away from something that would have caused you much greater difficulty. The second sign: feeling inexplicably drawn to or away from certain people. Have you ever met someone and immediately felt an intense connection, even though you couldn't explain why? Or conversely, have you ever encountered someone who seemed perfectly nice on the surface, but something deep inside you whispered, "Stay away"? This is your inner guidance system at work, a sophisticated early warning system that can detect things your conscious mind hasn't yet processed. It's one of the most reliable forms of divine protection we have, yet it's also one of the most ignored. Your soul has access to information that your logical mind simply can't compute. It can sense energy patterns, read intentions, and even pick up on future potential that hasn't yet manifested. When you feel that inexplicable pull towards someone or that subtle urge to keep your distance, you're receiving guidance from a source of wisdom that operates far beyond your everyday consciousness. I know someone who was at a networking event a few years ago. She was talking to various people, making connections, when she spotted someone across the room who seemed to radiate a warm, positive energy. She felt compelled to introduce herself, even though she was naturally shy and rarely approached strangers. That person ended up becoming not just a business partner, but one of her closest friends. More importantly, this person introduced her to opportunities that completely transformed her career trajectory. What seemed like a random impulse to talk to a stranger was actually divine guidance, pointing her towards someone who would play a crucial role in her life. On the flip side, she also told me about times when she met people who seemed successful and impressive, but something inside her felt uncomfortable. She learned to trust that feeling, even when it didn't make logical sense. Years later, she would often discover that these were people who had caused problems for others, or whose character wasn't as solid as it appeared. This inner knowing isn't judgment or prejudice, it's spiritual discernment. It's your higher self recognizing soul connections and warning you away from energies that might derail your path. When you feel these strong pulls or pushes regarding people, pay attention. Your soul is trying to navigate you toward the relationships that will serve your highest good. The third sign, technology and timing working in mysterious ways. In our digital age, one of the most common ways divine protection manifests is through technology behaving in unexpected ways. Your phone dies right before you were about to send an angry text you'd later regret. Your internet goes down just as you're about to make an impulsive online purchase that would have strained your budget. Your GPS malfunctions and routes you through an area where you end up discovering exactly what you needed to find. These technological glitches often serve as circuit breakers, interrupting actions or decisions that aren't in your best interest. In our fast-paced world, sometimes the universe needs to literally cut the connection to get our attention or prevent us from making choices we're not ready for. Think about timing too. You arrive somewhere exactly when you need to be there, even though you left late. You bump into someone just when you both needed to meet. You receive a call or message at the precise moment you needed to hear those words. This isn't coincidence. It's coordination from a higher intelligence that sees the bigger picture of your life. James studied what he called meaningful timing and found that people who paid attention to these patterns reported feeling more supported and less anxious about their lives. They began to trust that there was an underlying order to events that went beyond their personal planning and control. A friend of mine was going through a difficult period in her marriage. She'd been thinking about having a serious conversation with her husband, but kept putting it off. One evening, her phone randomly called her best friend, something that had never happened before. During that accidental call, her friend shared some insight about relationships that gave her exactly the perspective she needed for that conversation. That pocket dial led to one of the most healing conversations of her marriage. What seemed like a technological malfunction was actually divine timing, creating the exact connection she needed at the perfect moment. The fourth sign, animals and nature responding to your energy. Animals and natural elements often serve as messengers and protectors in ways that might surprise you. Dogs that usually bark at strangers are calm around you. Birds seem to gather when you're outside during difficult times. Even the weather seems to shift in response to your emotional state. This isn't imagination. Animals and nature are incredibly sensitive to energy and spiritual presence. They can often sense protective forces around you that you're not consciously aware of. When animals behave unusually around you, or when natural phenomena seem to respond to your inner state, it's often a sign that you're surrounded by a protective presence. Have you ever noticed that certain animals seem drawn to you during difficult periods in your life? Or that you keep seeing the same type of bird or animal repeatedly during times of major transition? These aren't random occurrences. They're messages and signs of protection from the natural world. Tell me in the comments if you've experienced any of these animal or nature signs. Sometimes recognizing these patterns can help us feel more connected to the protective forces that are always around us. James wrote about what he called the responsive universe, noting that people who were attuned to these natural signs often felt more guided and protected in their daily lives. He observed that the natural world serves as a constant communication system for those who know how to pay attention. I remember a woman who told me that during the worst period of her life, when she was going through a divorce and felt completely alone, a red cardinal began appearing outside her window every morning. She'd never noticed cardinals before, but suddenly this one bird was there every single day, almost as if it was checking on her. Later, she learned that cardinals are often considered messengers of hope and renewal in many spiritual traditions. That daily visit from the cardinal reminded her that she wasn't alone, that there was still beauty and meaning in her life, even during the darkest time. It was a small but profound form of divine comfort delivered through the natural world. The fifth sign, resources and opportunities appearing exactly when you need them. Perhaps the most remarkable sign of divine protection is how the universe provides exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. This might be financial resources appearing just when you're worried about money, job opportunities surfacing right when you're considering a career change, or helpful information coming your way precisely when you need to make an important decision. This isn't about magical thinking or expecting everything to be handed to you without effort. It's about recognizing that when you're aligned with your highest good, the universe has a way of supporting your journey with perfect timing and provision. These provisions often come through unexpected channels. A conversation with a stranger leads to a job opportunity. A book falls off a shelf and contains exactly the insight you needed. Someone offers you something at the exact moment you realized you needed it. These aren't coincidences, they're evidence of a supportive intelligence that's constantly working behind the scenes of your life. James studied what he called providential supply and found that people who cultivated gratitude and awareness of these patterns experienced them more frequently. It's as if acknowledging this support creates a feedback loop that brings even more support into your life. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you that if these insights are resonating with you, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. We dive deep into these mysteries of existence every week, and your engagement helps us reach more people who are seeking these deeper truths about life, living in awareness of divine protection. The beautiful thing about recognizing these signs is that it changes how you move through the world. Instead of feeling like you're navigating life alone, you begin to sense that you're part of a larger intelligence that's always looking out for your well-being. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges or difficulties. It means you'll face them with the knowledge that even your struggles serve a purpose, that even your setbacks are somehow part of a larger plan that's ultimately working for your good. When you start paying attention to these signs, you'll notice them more and more. It's not that they're happening more frequently, it's that you're finally awake to see what's been happening all along. The last-minute changes that redirect you away from harm, the inner knowing that guides you toward the right people and away from the wrong ones, the technological timing that protects you from poor decisions, the natural world's responsive presence in your life, and the perfect provision of what you need when you need it. These are all expressions of a loving intelligence that's been caring for you since the day you were born. Your job isn't to understand how this all works or to control it. Your job is simply to notice, to appreciate, and to trust that you're being looked after by something far greater and wiser than your individual perspective can comprehend. Every day, in ways both subtle and profound, something greater is watching over you. The question isn't whether this protection exists. The question is whether you're awake enough to recognize it when it appears. Start paying attention to these signs in your own life. Keep a journal of the last-minute changes, the inner knowing, the perfect timing, the natural responses, and the providential provisions. Over time, you'll build an undeniable record of the care and protection that's been surrounding you all along. If this message has touched something deep in your heart, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need to hear these words. And don't forget to tell me in the comments which of these signs you've experienced most in your own life. Together, we're building a community of people who recognize that we're all held by something infinitely loving and wise. Remember, you're never alone in this journey. Something greater sees you, knows you, and is constantly working to guide you toward your highest good. Your only job is to stay awake to the miracle of this protection that surrounds you every single day.